Welcome back to Future Forward, the show where we unpack the tech and trends shaping tomorrow. I'm Maria.
And I'm Gabriel. And today, oh boy, today we are tackling a big one, a concept that is just dripping with online hype.
Passive income, the dream, right? Specifically, we're talking about AdSense websites. You've seen the videos, the posts. I make $10,000 a month from my blog while I sleep.
Exactly. And we're here to pull back the curtain on that because the first thing you need to know is that most people think AdSense equals easy money, and it's not. Not even close. It's a lie.
It's such a fundamental misunderstanding of the model, and it's why the vast majority of blogs and content sites just fail. They get started, the owner is super excited, and then 6 months later, it's a ghost town.
Whoa, okay, coming in hot. A lie is a strong word, Gabriel. You're saying all those people are just making it up?
Right, because they hit the big three failure points. One, they get zero traffic. Two, they pick a niche that has no commercial value. And three, their expectations are completely warped by the hype. They expect to be rich in 3 months.
Okay, but the money is real, isn't it? I mean, people are making thousands of dollars, so it's not a total fantasy, it's just the how is misleading.
Not just making it up, but they're selling a fantasy. They're selling the get-rich-quick dream, the 4-hour work week, the laptop on a beach. And that fantasy is so appealing, but it's built on a foundation of not telling the whole story.
The unrealistic expectations are maybe the biggest killer. But here's the thing, it does work. It is a viable and actually pretty stable business model if you approach it correctly. So over the next half hour, we're going to break down what actually works. No fluff. Exactly, the destination is real, but the map they're selling you is completely wrong. They show you the finish line, but they conveniently leave out the 2 years of hard, unglamorous work it takes to get there. That's the liable mission. Let's do it. So Maria, let's start with the absolute basics. What even is an AdSense website when we strip away all the jargon?
Okay, simplest terms, it's a website built around providing information. You create content, articles, guides, whatever, that people are searching for. You get traffic, mostly from Google, and then you place ads on your site using a service, most commonly Google AdSense. That's it. Content plus traffic equals revenue.
It's that simple on the surface, but I think it's important to distinguish it from other models people get it confused with. This is not an affiliate site, right?
Right, an affiliate site is designed to sell other people's products for a commission. You're writing product reviews, comparisons. The goal is to get a click that leads to a sale. And an e-commerce site is obviously selling your own products.
An AdSense site is a pure in a way. You're not trying to sell anything. Your only job is to provide the answer the searcher is looking for. That's your product, information. The monetization is almost a byproduct of that. Let's make that concrete. An affiliate site might be, say, a blog that reviews different vacuum cleaners. The entire purpose of every article is to get you to click a Buy Now link on Amazon. An e-commerce site is the company that actually makes the vacuum cleaner, like Dyson.
Exactly, and that's why it's often described as, what's the phrase you use?
Low effort, slow burn. It's low effort in the sense that once an article is written and ranking on Google, it can earn you money for years with zero additional work. That's the passive part, but it's a very slow burn to get there. It's like planting an orchard. You do a ton of work up front and then you see nothing for a long time. Then slowly one tree starts to bear fruit, then another. And in 5 years, you have a whole orchard producing without much daily effort.
That's the perfect analogy. So let's talk about that fruit. How do these sites actually, make the money? What are the mechanics?
Okay, so it comes down to two acronyms you'll hear all the time, CPC and RPM. CPC is cost per click. An advertiser, say a law firm, pays Google a certain amount every time someone clicks their ad. You, the website owner, get a piece of that fee, about 68%.
So you want people to click the ads.
Well, yes and no. The more important metric is RPM, which means revenue per thousand, or revenue per 1,000 views. This basically bundles up all the clicks and ad impressions and tells you how much you earn on average for every 1,000 people that visit your site. It simplifies everything.
Okay, so break that down. Let's talk real numbers. If I have a blog, what's a a good RPM? What's a bad one?
It varies wildly, and this is critical. It depends entirely on your niche, but a general realistic range is somewhere between $5 and $25. Could be higher, could be lower, but that's a safe zone for estimates.
So let's do an example. Say my website gets 50,000 monthly visitors, which is a really solid goal for a new site. If I have a, let's say, $10 RPM, that's 50 times 10, so $500 a month.
Exactly. And if you're in a good niche and your RPM is closer to $30, that same 50,000 visitors is now earning you $1,500 a month. You see how the niche selection is literally the most important financial decision you make.
Okay, so let's go there because that's everything. What are the best niches and which ones should people just avoid at all costs?
The highest RPM niches are pretty much always the same: finance, insurance, legal, health, some areas of tech. Think about it. What kinds of advertisers have huge budgets? It's banks, insurance companies, lawyers. The clicks are worth more because the customer value is so high.
That makes sense. Then you have the medium tier stuff, right? Like lifestyle, travel, parenting.
Yep, the advertisers are still spending good money, but not as much as a credit card company. And then you have the low tier.
Let me guess. Memes, celebrity gossip, general entertainment.
You got it. These can get massive traffic, but the RPMs can be like $1 or $2. It's really hard to build a real business on that. Because the key insight here is, and if you take one thing from this section, let it be this, is that the searcher's intent is worth more than the traffic volume.
Unpack that. What do you mean by intent?
Someone searching best car insurance for new drivers has a very high commercial intent. They're looking to solve a problem that involves spending money. Someone searching funny cat videos is just bored. Advertisers will pay a fortune to get in front of the first person and almost nothing to get in front of the second.
So it's better to have 1,000 visitors with high intent than 100,000 visitors who are just killing time.
100%. Okay, so people are probably thinking, I get it, I'm sold. How does someone actually start this? Let's say from $0. What's the step-by-step?
I'll take this one. Step one, and we just covered it, is picking your niche. And Gabriel's point about intent is crucial. This should be search-driven, not passion-driven.
Ooh, that's a spicy take. The internet guru mantra is follow your passion.
It's terrible advice for this model. Nobody is passionate about, commercial boiler maintenance. But there are people searching for it, and the companies that sell that service have huge ad budgets. You don't have to be passionate about it, just interested enough to learn and write about it.
Okay, so you've picked your profitable, maybe slightly boring niche. What's next?
Step two is keyword research. This is where you find the exact questions people are typing into Google. Your goal is to find questions that have low competition, meaning there aren't already 10 massive websites with perfect answers.
You're looking for the gaps in the market.
Exactly. Step three, create the content. And you need a good amount of it before you even think about launching. The general advice is 30 to 50 solid articles.
Wow, okay, so that's a significant amount of upfront work. This isn't a weekend project.
Not at all. Once you have that content, step four is the basic website setup. Honestly, this is the easy part. Get a domain name, get some cheap hosting, install WordPress. Don't overthink it. And finally, step five, once you have your content up, is you apply for Google AdSense.
And then the money starts rolling in, right?
And then crickets, because you have content, but you don't have the most important piece of the puzzle, which is traffic. And that really is everything.
So let's talk about the traffic strategy, because this is the engine of the whole machine. Content is the fuel, but SEO is the engine.
Right. Your primary and maybe your only traffic source in the beginning should be Google, search engine optimization, and you don't need to be a guru. The basics are simple. You focus on those low competition keywords we talked about, often called long tail keywords.
So instead of writing an article on cars, you write an article on how to change the oil in a 2018 Honda Civic. Much more specific.
Perfect example. And your content should be answer-based. Your whole goal is to create the single best, most helpful answer on the internet for that specific question. That's what Google wants to show its users.
What about social media? People get so hung up on building a huge Instagram following or a viral Pinterest account.
It's optional. It's a distraction for this model, honestly. Social media traffic is fleeting. You have to work for it every single day. A post is popular for 24 hours and then it's gone.
Whereas Google traffic has a compounding effect. An article you write today could rank on the first page for 5 years, bringing you new visitors every single day with no extra work. It's an asset that grows in value. It's like a dividend stock versus day trading.
Love that. Okay, so this is the part where we need to be brutally honest. We've laid out the plan, now let's lay out the timeline. When do you actually make money?
This is where we save people from quitting. For months 0 to 3, you should expect absolutely nothing. Zero traffic, zero clicks, $0. Google has what's called a sandbox, where it basically ignores new sites to see if they're legitimate.
And this is the great filter. 90% of people give up right here because they think it's not working.
Exactly. Then, somewhere in months 3 to 6, you'll start to see your first clicks. You'll make like 10 cents one day. It's the most exciting 10 cents you'll ever make because it proves the model works. You'll get maybe a few hundred visitors a month.
It's proof of life.
It really is. The real growth starts to happen between months 6 and 12. This is when Google starts to trust you. Your articles begin to rank higher. You might go from 500 visitors a month to 5,000 or 10,000. This is when you can start making 100, maybe a few $100s a month.
Setting these realistic expectations is so important. If you know you're not supposed to see results for 3 months, you won't get discouraged. You'll just keep publishing. It builds trust with our listeners, but more importantly, it helps them stick with it.
Speaking of which, let's do a quick fire round. What are the biggest mistakes beginners make that cause them to fail even if they stick it out?
Okay, I'll start. Mistake number 1, picking a niche that's way too broad, like a health blog instead of a blog about, say, nutrition for marathon runners over 40.
Oh, a classic. My turn. Writing low-quality, obviously AI-generated content that doesn't actually help the reader. Google is getting smarter and smarter at detecting that kind of spam.
We already mentioned it, but giving up too early. The 6-month mark is when the magic starts, not the finish line.
Ignoring the SEO basics. You don't have to be a pro, but you have to understand what a keyword is and how to use it in a title.
And my favorite, obsessing over the design, spending weeks choosing the perfect logo or color scheme when you only have 3 articles on your site. Content first, always.
Couldn't agree more. So let's say someone avoids all those mistakes. They've put in the year of hard work. Their site is making, $500 or $1,000 a month. How do they scale that to a real life-changing income?
This is the fun part. The first step is outsourcing your content. You now have cash flow. You can use that money to hire writers to create more content for you. You're buying back your time, which lets you work on the business, not just in it.
And once you have a system down, you can start building multiple sites. You use the profits from Site 1 to fund the creation of Site 2 and Site 3. This is the digital real estate model. You're building a portfolio of assets.
You can also add other income streams. Once you have the traffic, it's easy to add affiliate links for relevant products. You're just layering monetization on top of the traffic you already have.
Ultimately, you're turning this website from a small income stream into a true digital asset. Something that has real value, that produces cash flow, and that you could even sell one day for a huge multiple of its monthly earnings.
Okay, so as we wrap up, let's look to the future. A lot of people are worried that the AI content explosion is going to kill this business model. Is that true?
It's definitely changing the game. The barrier to creating mediocre content is now zero. So yes, there's going to be a flood of low-quality AI content, which means more competition, more noise.
But, and this is a huge but, that just means the opportunity for real, human, high-quality content is bigger than ever. When everyone is zigging with generic AI articles, you zag with better content. You include personal experience, novel insights, better research.
Exactly. The premium on authenticity and genuine expertise is going to skyrocket. And there will always be an opportunity for better targeting, finding those tiny, underserved niches that the big players ignore. The game isn't over, it's just evolving.
So I think that's the final take, right? This isn't easy money, it's not fast money.
But it's one of the most stable, proven, and understandable online income streams there is. If you're willing to treat it like a real business and put in the work, it's not a lottery ticket, it's a long-term investment.
A perfect summary. That's all the time we have for today. I'm Maria.
And I'm Gabriel. Thanks for listening to Future Forward.